Okay, I got a quick video today. The work that I've done. I know I've talked to y'all about doing the work. What do the work look like? But now we're gonna make it a little personal. I'm gonna tell y'all what work I've done. Of course, y'all know I got my handy dandy list. We got about 7 bullet points on here. Yeah, let's do this. First bullet point, realizing who I have outgrown. And that goes for friends, family, jobs, and activities. Sometimes, unfortunately, the people you want to make it with you to the top, they can't go. People who you want to do stuff with and have experiences with, they can't come. Either because they don't want to, they're not ready, or they simply just can't keep up. And as unfortunate as it is, that's the harsh reality of it. I'm going to give y'all a prime example, and I really hope this makes sense. I love to travel internationally. And I would love for some of the people who I grew up with, went to high school with, childhood friends, all that, I would love for them to come with me. But them niggas do not have passports. You think I'm going to beg them? You think I'm going to, hound them? I'm not doing none of that shit. These same motherfuckers who see me out of town and be like, damn, you always gone. They the same people who have every pair of Jordans that ever came out. They got $1,300 pair of jeans. They going to all the newest restaurants, saying they got all the newest flyest shit. Ain't no reason why they shouldn't have a passport. It's not a priority to them. And you just got to understand what's important to you, not important to them. Sometimes you outgrow things. If something is not serving you, you've outgrown it. That go for friends too. You know what I'm saying? When you grow and mature, you're going to grow into things. You're going to grow out of things. So when we talking about what work have I done, I got to realize who and what I've outgrown. And it's no beef. It's no hard feelings. It's some people who they was good for a portion of your life when you needed them, and that's why they was there, and that's it. They served their purpose. They didn't necessarily overstay their welcome, but they served their purpose. So now that you are a different person, you're not who you were when you met them. You're not who you were when y'all was developing that friendship, that bond, that connection, because now that connection is not valid because the circumstances in which it was no longer exist. Right, I want y'all to remember that. When we talking about the work that I've done, I just had to realize who I've outgrown. Friends, family, jobs, and activities. Next, thinking differently about my boundaries, right? So the way that I establish boundaries sometimes, the way that I implement my boundaries, the way that I convey or explain or clarify or share the boundary, whatever it is, with the person who it exists with. I think that for me has been a tough part of doing work because I feel like I've had to establish so many boundaries with people. Now, when it comes to establishing boundaries, it is a tough conversation to have with yourself, but at the end of the day, a lot of times when I've done shrooms and I feel a vibe that's off with a person, it's because they continually disregard me as a person, and so I established that boundary so that there is no disregard anymore and that my feelings don't be hurt. I think that in the number of trips that I've had and the number of realizations that I've come to, boundaries was a conversation that was recurring when it came to the work that I needed to do. Because for a long time I would let stuff slide for the sake of peace, and it's like, the sake of whose peace? Because you keeping a peace for them, but you in turmoil on the inside. So what about your peace? My inner voice is very much so unfiltered, straight up. Straight, no chaser. Like, no chaser at all. Not even spit to wash it down. I'm talking shot, mouth dry afterwards, okay? That's the type of straight, no chaser my inner voice just be when it's time to have them real seminars. Changing my train of thought is a part of doing the work. It was the first step in making adjustments. Change my mind, change my behavior, follow through, right? The next thing on the list, making changes in how I handle my emotions, right? And that goes for self-talk and outward expressions with the people who are around me. Self-talk is your inner voice, right? And even though I just told y'all my inner voice is very straight up and can be a little harsh if other people were to hear it, I'm just very much so straight up about myself. Like I'm very much so practical than I am emotional. But being emotional also includes the way that you choose to respond. Sometimes I have no response. And other times my response is to cut the fuck up. Now, for those of y'all who really know me for real and y'all watching this and y'all see me cut the fuck up, I will be quiet and cutting the fuck up because I'm going to just be about action. I think in me working on myself, a lot of times I have had the conversation where it's like, you are in this predicament because you did not handle this correctly. Like, as much as you want to try to, you know, say that your actions were a reaction, you're still responsible for them because they are yours. You don't have to respond to everything, right? And the way that I talk to myself is like, I do need to grant myself grace, but in the same breath, I gotta be straight up. Like, you dropped the ball on that. No. How people act does not dictate how you respond. And you need to make the decision on whether your next move is gonna be to remove yourself, to cuss them out without using cuss words, and make your point clear and make it sting, or some other form of maturity. But we are beyond the days of you being in high school and getting suspended. Nobody's gonna hear you when you yelling, and they damn sure not gonna understand what you're talking about if all you want to do is put your hands on them, and that's not gonna go nowhere. Because, okay, you put your hands on them, you beat them up, they still slow, so you beat their ass for what? And it's like, you're right, okay, yeah, okay. I mean, but what about the satisfaction I get from, like, blowing their shit in? Okay, you blew their shit in, but they're dumb, they're slow. You think you're smarter than them, and you equate them to having not half as many brain cells as you do. Because if they did, they wouldn't do half of the dumbass shit they did. Y'all wouldn't be in this situation, would y'all? No, okay. So now that we have that established, how are we gonna move forward dealing with people who are remedial? When I talk to myself like that, it's like, you know what? You're right. You're right. Me having some of them tough conversations on shrooms, it really just helped to put a lot of stuff into perspective. Not to say that I couldn't have had that conversation sober, because I definitely could have had that conversation sober. But it's just, when you on shrooms, it's just different. It's just different. Following up with that, the next bullet point says, recognizing my ignorances and areas where I need to grow up some. That literally sums up every last bit of what I just told y'all. It's about maturing. Shrooms will show you what you need in order to mature. You got to grow up some. Everything is not going to work all the time. Times change. People grow and change. You got to change too. You got to grow up some. And this next one go into that too. Getting a grip on my attitude and how I respond to stress and being more serious about my goals. When I find that when I'm working on a goal, I have developed this level of just tunnel vision that is unbreakable. It's unbotherable. Like, you could say a lot of stuff to me, I'd be like, okay, oh, in a minute. I got something else I gotta do real quick, in a minute. There's a level of focus that just develops that's just like, I'm working on something. No, really at 21, I realized that I was almost halfway done with going to all 50 states. And I was like, dang, I didn't even realize I've been to this many states. And that honestly started off of a status that I saw on Facebook. It said something to the effect of, the average person has only been to 8 states in their entire life. Most people never leave their hometown. How many states have you been to? Put a check mark next to every state. And I think I was at like 18 or 20 or something like that. And I'm like, man, I want to be different. I want to go to all of them. And so then I started thinking about, okay, how many states I've been to? Where did I go as a kid? Because I used to travel a lot when I was a kid. And I started writing down. I got up to like 25. I'm like, I'm halfway done. Let me finish all these up, right? I got serious about it. I started getting on Travel Talk, started figuring out hacks to get flights for cheap, and I just went from there. I started learning about the policies at my job in order to take off time in advance, and I just really started rotating my credit, trying to figure that out. Like, I started making waves. In 2022, I visited 12 states. It's the beginning of 2023, and I done knocked off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more states. That's in January and February alone. Next state I go to will be number 46 out of 50. And it's like, when I redirect my time and my attention to something that's just bigger than me and more satisfactory when it comes to things that I want to see myself do in my life in general, it's like nobody can really get me out of that. Majority of them trips I've done solo. I started just making everything about my goals. I started making everything about maturing, about growing up, about doing shit, about accomplishing stuff. Like, I always ask myself, if I died tomorrow, would I be satisfied with all the things that I've done in my life? Can people say that I lived my life? Will people grieve me and be like, she has so much more life to live, and you know, so much more stuff I know she wanted to do? And it's like, yeah, people still gonna be able to say that, but if I died tomorrow, I wouldn't have no regrets. I wouldn't feel like I missed out on nothing. Like, I've seen, you know, a lot of parts of the world. I have very good memories with friends and family. And if something happened to me, please do not grieve me. Burn me up, sprinkle some glitter in my ashes, bag me up like a nickel or dime bag of weed, pass it out at my memorial service, and when my friends get to traveling, have them take one of my ash bags and take it with them and spread my ashes to whatever country they go to and visit. That's what I want. So, if anybody ever confused, that's what I want. And if y'all don't know who to call to bag up my ashes, my cousins know who to call. Everybody knows somebody who cut work. Yeah. Razor blade me up into a nickel or dime bag and sprinkle some iridescent glitter in there and pass it out at my memorial service. Next thing on the list, learning to accept change and reminding others that I'm not always the same version of me they met. Coming to terms with the fact that the journey I'm on, others may not be ready or want to go with me. I told y'all about that in full detail as it pertains to solo traveling. We're going to leave it at that. Friends, family that ain't going to make it with you to the top, ain't going to see it. So sorry for you, but that's how the cookie crumble on that. Last but certainly not least, being serious about the steps closer to what I want. Changing who has access to me, making reminders, apologizing if necessary, and making a conscious effort to stand on it. When it comes to doing the work, the last one is, I swear to God, is the most important. When you make a plan of how you're going to get to where you say you want to get to, there are going to be people who are going to help you get there. There are people who are going to support you getting there, even if you're not that close to that person. I made it very clear that I'm trying to finish my 50 states. You know, I'll make statuses like, hey, what is there to do in this place? What's there to do in this place? And so many people who I haven't talked to in years will write under that status and be like, hey, girl, I used to live here for a couple years. I know you be posting this, and I see that you like rooftops. Try this restaurant. Try this place. This place has really good wine. This place has a really good champagne bar. Try this. Go to this. Here's an activity. I know you like doing active stuff. Are you interested in A, B, C, X, Y, Z? And it's just been so many people. Once you get it clear what you want to do, and you will be surprised the number of people who will provide you information to help you cut corners to get there faster. Even with my 50 states, there's people who like, I live here. If you ain't been to my state yet, come visit me. You ain't got to worry about no room, no hotel, none of that. You can stay in my house. Say less. I cook for you. We have a family event, so I take you around. Here's a list of places that I like to go eat at. What are you interested in? I know you want to do stuff you never did. What's on your itinerary list? Let me give you some insight. Tell me your ideas. Let me help you. People who I haven't spoken to in years literally are helping me get to where I want to go in life. And it's just like, it all starts with you doing the work yourself. Like, when we talk about psychedelic mushrooms, and we talk about alignment, and we talk about tapping in, and we talk about a higher level of consciousness, all of that plays in to getting there. It all plays in. The more serious you are about something, the more serious the universe is going to be about bringing it to you. If you believe in God, all the religious authorities, and that's your go-to, the more serious you are with them, the more serious they going to be about bringing it to you and getting it to you. Nobody is going to take you serious if you're not serious. I'm not granting wishes to somebody who playing games. I'm not granting wishes or bringing anything to fruition to people who are inconsistent. It just don't work like that. Like, yes, take a break if you need to, but don't ever quit and don't ever give up. Get organized and be for real. This point about accepting that you're a different person, I think that's one of the hardest things, because everybody see you in the light that they met you in, and there are some people who you'll never have to explain your changes to, but they just care about you and love you so much that they're like, wherever life take you, bro, I'm gonna be there with you. I may not understand, but I hope you explain it to me along the way, but I'm not giving up on you, and I got your back. I'm in your corner. Got you where I can get you, and where I can't, I'll find somebody else. But if some people who not getting that, you gotta understand that they not gonna always want to hold on to you, and you just gotta wave at them from a distance. This final part of this whole piece is changing who has access to me. That has been very, very big for me so far this year. It just been so many times where I felt like I was dealing with things that I just didn't want to deal with no more. And I'm really only dealing with it because people have too much proximity to me. So what did I do? I changed that. Made it so that people who could reach me was people who I wanted to reach me. With that being said, I hope that this video has given you some insight on some of the work that I've done personally in order to just get to where I'm at in my mentality, get to where I'm at in my growth, get to where I'm at in the changes that I've made in order to just be what y'all see today. If y'all have anything that y'all feel that I should touch on, I would love for y'all to engage and leave me some comments. I try to be as transparent with y'all as I can because I'm learning, I'm growing. I'm not perfect, but somebody needs to see and hear me being myself and learning and growing and accepting myself so that they can do the same thing for themselves. I hope this video was beneficial to you. If it was, right on. If it wasn't, send it to somebody who you think could benefit from it. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, comment, like, and subscribe, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Peace out.